The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of crimson and violet as Jack and Ethan and Matthew set up camp deep in the heart of Pinewood Forest. It was a weekend ritual for the three friends, a chance to escape the pressures of their busy lives and reconnect with nature. They joked and laughed as they pitched their tents, their spirits high with youthful exuberance. As night enveloped the forest, they gathered around the crackling campfire, its warm glow flickering in the encroaching darkness. The shadows danced among the trees, casting eerie silhouettes that seemed to whisper secrets. They roasted marshmallows, telling ghost stories laced with bravado and more bravado, their laughter echoing through the still air. Did you guys hear about the old legend of the demon of Pinewood Forest? Jack asked with a grin, stoking the fire. Ethan rolled his eyes. Not this again. It's just a story to scare children. Matthew, a touch more superstitious, leaned in. But what if it's true? People say it protects the forest. Those who wander too far never return. Jack chuckled. We'll be fine. Besides, there's no such things as demons. But a shadow flickered behind the trees, as if someone or something was listening. An ancient malevolence laid coil within the woods, waiting for the right moment to strike. Later that night, after the fire had died down, the friends lay in their tents, the sounds of the forest singing them to sleep. Jack's dreams were restless, filled with visions of dark figures and sinister whispers. He tossed and turned, half awake, when he heard a soft rustling from outside. Ethan, he called through the thin fabric of the tent. You awake? No answer came, just the sound of the wind whispering through the trees. Tentatively, Jack unzipped his tent and peeked outside. The moon hung low, illuminating the forest with an eerie glow. He strained his ears, listening. There it was again, a faint whisper, almost melodic. Drawn by the sound, Jack stepped out of his tent, feeling an irrational urge to follow the whispers deeper into the woods. Guys, he called softly, but received no response. He moved cautiously through the underbrush, the cool beneath his feet cushioning his steps. The whispering grew louder, beckoning him. Jack, it seemed to call. Suddenly he stumbled upon a clearing, illuminated by the moonlight. In the center stood an ancient gnarled tree, its branches twisted like bony fingers reaching for the sky. The whispers now turned into words. Come to me. Jack felt a chill race down his spine, but curiosity overpowered his fear. He stepped closer to the tree, entranced by its eerie beauty. As he reached out to touch the rough bark, a shadow shifted behind him. Jack! Ethan's voice broke through the fog of his mind. What are you doing? Startled, Jack spun around. I heard something. I had to follow it. Ethan approached, shaking his head. You scared us. Matthew is still asleep. We need to get back to the fire before... Suddenly, they were caught off by an otherworldly shriek. Both men froze, their hearts racing, as the chilling sound echoed through the trees. It was a sound that seemed to resonate from the very depths of the forest, tortured and sinister. Without a word, they turned to rush back to camp. In their haste, they became disorientated, the trees shifting in a labyrinth of a pattern as the forest itself conspired against them. Every rustle of leaves felt like a warning. Every snap of a twig heightened their panic. Jack! This way! Ethan shouted, pointing to what he thought was the direction of the firelight. They pushed through the thick underbrush, the whispers following them, taunting, urging them to turn around. But Jack and Ethan pressed on, desperation fueling their flight. Matthew! They called, but the forest swallowed their voices. leaving only an unnerving silence in its wake. After what felt like hours, they stumbled into their campsite, only to find it empty. The fire was reduced to glowing embers. The tents completely collapsed. Panic surged through Jack. Where is he? Ethan's face twisted with fear. He wouldn't just leave. Something must have happened. As the realization sunk in, the whispers returned, louder now, swelling into a melody of tormented voices. Jack and Ethan exchanged glances, dread pooling in their stomachs. They had to find Matthew, but where could he have been? Without another word, they began to scavenge the area, calling Matthew's name in a futile hope he would answer. They ventured further, the darkness growing thicker, swallowing them whole as the shadows stretched and twisted around them. Ethan paused, his breath coming in ragged gasps. We need to go back, he said, panic creeping into his voice. We must have gone too far. But Jack shook his head. We can't leave Matthew. He needs us. Suddenly a gust of wind whipped through the trees, howling like a banshee, and a chilling voice echoed among the leaves. He is mine. The ground trembled beneath them, and the skeletal form of the gnarled tree emerged from the shadows, more imposing than before. Its branches twisted into grotesque shapes, the whispering voices converging into a single demonic laughter that sent chills coursing through their bodies. Run! Jack yelled, and they turned, racing back into the dense woods, the forest alive with a sinister energy, the whispers heightening into a demonic chorus, mocking their every step. But it was too late. The forest closed in, claws of shadows reaching out to ensnare them, dragging them deeper into its embrace. They stumbled, trying to fight against the overwhelming dread, but the more they resisted, the stronger the pull became. As they fell to their knees, the laughter echoed around them. From the depths of the shadows, Matthew's voice finally broke through. Help me! It was a desperate cry, filled with pain and fear. Jack's heart hammered in his chest. Matthew, where are you? Right here, the voice came from behind the tree. But when they looked, they saw nothing. You have to help me! But the entity manifested before them, an abominable creature of darkness, its eyes glowing like embers in the night. You cannot save him. He belongs to me now. The creature lunged forward, its clawed hands reaching out. In that heart-stopping moment, Jack and Ethan ran, fueled by raw instinct, navigating the treacherous terrain, not looking back, running with fear in their hearts and their lungs hurting. Jack yelled, Stop! Just stop! Both heaving with a lack of air. We can't just run away, man. I mean, what is that? Where is Matthew? Ethan pulled out his phone. We have to call the cops. There was no signal. Of course, he yelled, their frenzy broken by a loud tree branch snapping. They quickly turned around to find the creature standing tall amongst the trees, watching them with glowing, bloodthirsty eyes. They ran in the opposite direction with no plan in mind, but to get away. They somehow bursted through another clearing, realizing they were on a hard tar floor. They had reached one of the old logging back roads. Their exhaustion kicked in as they sat down, tired and defeated. They spent the next few hours debating whether to go back to rescue their friend or to follow the road to reach some sort of civilization to call for help. Time passed and they found themselves passing out on the side of the road. As dawn broke, Jack and Ethan sat huddled on the side of the cracked road, filthy, exhausted, and too numb to speak. The wind stirred into the trees behind them, but they didn't dare look back. Ethan stared at his phone, eyes wide with disbelief. I've got signal, he shouted, his voice cracking. He fumbled the dial, and within minutes they were on the phone with the police. recounting the nightmare in a frantic, stammering burst. An officer assured them someone would be dispatched right away and told them to stay put. Relief washed over them like a wave, but it was a thin, fragile, like a spider silk straining against a storm. They waited and waited. 2 hours passed. No one came. The forest grew quiet again. Too quiet. Birds stopped singing. The wind ceased. Even the insects fell silent. Then Jack felt it. That pull. That heavy feeling in his gut like a hook in his spine. He looked at the tree line and froze. Matthew was standing there, still barefoot, still wearing his hoodie, still looking almost like himself. But something was wrong. His face was slack, his eyes unfocused, until they locked onto Jack's. Then he smiled. A slow, unnatural grin that spread wider than humanly possible, revealing teeth far too sharp, far too many. Ethan grabbed Jack's arm. "Don't look at it. That's not him." But Jack couldn't look away. Matthew, or whatever it was, tilted its head in a grotesque angle, as if snapping a twig. Then it moved, not walking, but gliding, effortless and soundless, across the asphalt toward them. Jack and Ethan stumbled to their feet, just as a rumbling engine echoed in the distance. Headlights. A patrol truck turned into the road. The boys waved frantically, screaming. The deputy slammed the brakes when he saw them and leapt out. "Jesus! You boys all right?" Ethan pointed behind them. "There! The thing! It's not human! It took Matthew!" The deputy turned, squinting into the trees, but Matthew was gone. Only rustling leaves remained. He radioed for backup and cautiously walked into the woods, telling the boys to stay by the truck. Jack watched the forest swallow him whole. Minutes passed. Then came the scream. Short, sharp, cut off mid-breath. The radio on the truck crackled with static, then silence. "Get in!" Ethan shouted. They piled into the patrol truck and slammed the doors. The static on the radio turned into whispers. Familiar whispers. "Jack, Ethan, Giles." The rearview mirror caught movement. Someone standing just behind the vehicle. They turned. Nothing was there. Then the engine died. Everything went dark. Even the rising sun seemed to dim. As if smothered by unseen force, the world outside the truck faded into a fog. They heard breathing inside. Not their own. A rasping, guttural sound from the back seat. Slowly, Jack turned. The creature sat between them, grinning, its eyes glowing like a dying embers. "You shouldn't have come back," it hissed. The doors locked, the windows fogged up from inside. Their screams were muffled by the thickening fog. And then, darkness. 1 week later, the search team found the abandoned patrol truck on the edge of Pinewood Forest. The doors were open. No sign of struggle, no blood, no Jack, no Ethan, no Matthew, not even footprints. Inside the vehicle, a single item remained: Ethan's phone, still recording. The last few seconds of the audio were muffled screams, distorted whispers, and finally, a single chilling sentence in a voice that was not human.